as I have been on second dinner in this video, I do think that it is worth praising them for this one. White Queen has sucked forever. Making her a 3/4 gives her a new lease on life. And as someone who's been reading through old X-Men comic books, yeah, you know, I like her. She's cool. I'd like to see more of her in my game. I would like to play this cool-ass character in my game. And she has an ability that I think for so long has been frustratingly close to playable. Like, this is a card that keeps getting brought up for buffs because everyone who looks at it is like, you know, it's really not that far off from being actually good. And I think moving her to 3/4 does a couple of things. The first is gives some real massive synergy with the card Isan releasing next week. Woo! That, of course, for those who are unaware, is a card that it's a 6-drop, but it pulls the strongest card from your opponent. Not the strongest. Jesus. I'm leaving it in. It pulls any card that was created. It pulls like a random created card from your hand. And so if the only created card in your hand is your opponent's strongest card, I mean, that's basically leader, right? Like, that thing is on crack. That's a really big card. And so I think that this is a really unique thing to do. I will warn them that, like, maybe there's some RSM risk here, but I think costing it at 3 is a really good way to avoid that RSM risk, because RSM just hates playing 3s right now. It would basically rather play a 4-on-3 100% of the time. So it just doesn't have a lot of room for stuff like this, which makes me feel better about it, generally speaking. I'm very glad that they're taking a look at her, and my true hope is if she still sucks, maybe they'll 3/5 her. But I'm just glad that she's got a real shot. For the longest time, Lizard was like the budget gaming 2-drop, and this buff to 2/6 I think could go a really long way. I'm intrigued by the way they did this, though. They went to buff him to 2/6 instead of reducing the effect he had, which is really interesting. Like, I don't know what the thought process here is, because Lizard used to go -3, right? It was a 2/5 that would get -3, then it became a 2/5 that would get -4. And instead of going back to -3, which I would describe as like a half step upward, they took the full step upward and were just like 2/6. And that seems crazy to me. This card seems pretty reasonable. I just talked about the downward pressure that cards like Iron Patriot are applying in the metagame. This is a card that is objectively phenomenal into an Iron Patriot. Like, it's a freaking 2/6. That's crazy. I'm definitely interested to see if Lizard can end up making some waves here. And I strongly suspect that the biggest beneficiary here is, like, now, I think that it was pretty dope to be like, oh, I didn't buy this season pass. I didn't buy Sam Wilson. I didn't buy Iron Patriot. What can I replace it with? The answer is usually nothing. I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be shocked if you could replace those cards in decks where the synergy wasn't important. So, like, not Iron Patriot in your V-Hand deck or whatever, not Sam Wilson in your Craven deck, but in decks where it's just being run as a good card. I wouldn't be surprised if you could replace him with them. I don't think it would be good, but it makes it a much more reasonable budget replacement than there was previously. Previously, they're just absolutely right out, no options for a budget replacement for, like, any of these. This is not a good option, but it is an option. I want to take y'all on a trip down memory lane. When High Evolutionary was first data mined, it was data mined as a 4/7, and the common opinion was, are they on crack? You obviously cannot release this card as a 4/7. Is second dinner high? What the hell are they doing? And turns